is going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome. It's the Picture Network. I'm its host and creator, Tyzilla83. Hope you're doing well. Week 1 in the books for the Razorbacks as they beat EIU 55-20. Not a bad start for the Razorbacks on the season. Not too bad at all. We'll get to that and more in just a second. But first, if you guys would, at the end of the video, that is, like, comment, share the content that you've just watched. And, of course, if you haven't already, feel free to tap the subscribe button. Don't forget to check out the PTN Patreon link down below. And there's also a one-time donation link if you guys want to kind of help the channel out a little bit. I'd really appreciate it. Let's dive into this. Let's talk about this Week 1 matchup for the Razorbacks. Usually how we do this is we start off with the negatives, and then we go into the positives. That way we don't leave the video with a sour taste in your mouth, right? Like there's nothing worse than ending a video on a negative note. We're not going to do that in this video, okay? I know some of you called me out a few weeks back. Oh, you're being too negative talking about the offensive line. Well, plug your ears for the first start of this. Negatives, for sure, starting off, the offensive line. The offensive line is not where they need to be. This is an offense. I told you guys. They are a problem with this offense. These guys ran the ball 37 times. They netted a total of 80 yards. What is that yard per carry? That's 2.2 yards. Okay, and one of those best carries was a 10-yard run by Ty Storey. If you want to take the quarterbacks out of the equation, it doesn't get any better on your yards per carry. You know, again, it's not like they didn't try to run the ball. They tried to run the ball 37 times, and they couldn't do it. Now, their pass blocking, I will say, I thought that was the best performance we've seen as far as pass blocking in a while. But still wasn't great. So if I had to grade out the offensive line, I'd say C-, C+. But they opened 0 gaps for these running backs to run through. So you can chalk that up to run game or run blocking, but I am most definitely, look, I played offensive line. You don't get the glory, you get all the blame, and this is a position where you got to blame the offensive line. They got to do a better job of opening up gaps for these running backs to run through. Another negative, and I know that Chevin Callaway actually graded out really high on Pro Football Focus, which I really need to go in and read how they grade corners out, because this guy gave up 2 touchdowns. He got burned on a pretty simple route, and then he got burned on another route that wasn't as long. I think it was only like I don't know how long the touchdown was. It wasn't that far. But Chevin Callaway looked like he kind of got turned around a little bit. I didn't think he looked that good. In fact, he was kind of he looked, on both those plays, he looked a little lost. I don't know if that was just first game jitters. Maybe it is. Hopefully he's better than that. I've said before, I think he's got a pretty high ceiling. I do. He was highly recruited after all. He was a 4-star coming out of high school. But he's just not really shown that yet. And I'm Ryan Pulley, there's a reason why we're not talking about Ryan Pulley a whole lot, but there's kind of a reason why we're bringing up Chevin Callaway right now. When you give up those 2 touchdowns like that, I don't know how you don't put him on the negative list. And you can't even blame the rest of the secondary. Those bulk of the yardage that the secondary gave up was on Chevin Callaway. And the only other negative, and I'm not going to say that his performance, his individual performance was not bad at all. Cole Kelly, 9 of 12, 92 yards, 75% pass completion ratio, and he had a passing touchdown. It wasn't too bad. Overall, this team finished 21 of 29 with 353 yards through the air. And Cole Kelly certainly, statistically, did pretty well. Again, when you talk about completion percentage, it was actually higher than Ty Storey's. But the negative is he just could not operate this offense at all. They looked lost. They looked even slower. And we know he's not a real fast guy. The big positive that he's supposed to bring to this offense is the fact that he has a strong arm, and that he doesn't turn the ball over a whole lot, and that he is 6'7" and really hard to bring down. And that can provide you some options on offense. And in practice, it always seemed like he was when you read the positive things, it was always about Cole Kelly. The interceptions were Ty Storey, but the offense and looking good was Cole Kelly. And that wasn't the case. When you compare the 2 quarterbacks, Ty Storey came in and just took over. And definitely, it's obvious now, we've been told for weeks that he understands the playbook. He's got a better grasp on the playbook than Cole Kelly does. And that looked apparent in this game. So to me, it's difficult, but I'm going to have to throw his performance, or his inability rather, to move this offense down the field at all. When you consider how Ty Storey was able to do it, I got to throw Cole Kelly in the negative portion of this video. Starting off with the positives. Yay, the positives, my favorite part. Ty Storey, without a doubt. Again, Cole Kelly just had he just looked lost. I'm sorry. He just didn't look like he knew what he was doing. And then Ty Storey comes out and he looks like a hero. I mean, people are already calling him the savior on social media. Pump your brakes. The first time this guy has a mediocre or bad game, you're going to be the first ones to say that they need to start John Stephen-Jones or Dalton Hyatt or Connor Nolan. But I can see why they're happy and excited to see that, because we actually got to see a quarterback stand back in the pocket and deliver some pretty good throws. And Ty Story, just again, he was cool, calm, and collected. He was a baller. He finished 12 of 17 for 261 yards on 12 completions. 12 completions, 261 yards with almost 71% pass completion ratio with 4 total touchdowns. Absolutely incredible. Another positive, this defense forced not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 total fumbles. And they dropped a couple of picks. They really should have had like at least one more takeaway on defense. 5 fumbles. It was incredible. I think Chevin Callaway, and maybe that's one of the reasons why he graded out so high, I think he forced a fumble, and then later he recovered a fumble. They just, oh, wow, it was incredible. I think Dre Greenlaw forced one of those fumbles as well. It was, you could tell that Chad Morrison and John Chavis put an emphasis on stripping the ball, and they still made, for the most part, pretty clean. You know, they didn't miss many tackles. I think they did miss a couple, but not that many, not an overwhelming amount, and that was pretty impressive. Staying with the defense, Bumper Poole came in for Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw, who in the first quarter had something like 10 tackles in the first quarter, a tackle for loss and a forced fumble. The leading tackler in the SEC this week had 12 tackles in the entire game, I read. Can you imagine where Dre Greenlaw would have been on that list had he been healthy the entire game? No update on him. I've heard it's a high ankle sprain. Don't know the severity of it just yet, so we'll keep an eye on that. But no, Bumper Poole would come in for Dre Greenlaw the rest of that game, and he was everywhere, including a fumble recovery for like a whole bunch of yards. He nearly scored, but he ran out of gas towards the end. Bumper Poole was magnificent. I thought he just, it's like they didn't miss a beat when Dre Greenlaw left. So that was, or when he left the game with the injury. So that was very pleasant to see. I think Bumper Poole's got a bright future. How about the kicking game? No, they didn't have very many kicks, on kickoff out of the back of the end zone. But Limpert was 7 for 7 on extra points and 2 for 2 on field goal attempts, with the longest, I think, was 39 yards. That's pretty good. That's not bad. So you kind of feel good a little bit there about special teams. It's been a while. Punting could be a little bit better, and I don't know about Jared Cornelius being on special teams, punt returning, but look, 7 for 7, 2 for 2 for Limpert. Hey, we'll take it. That's going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. Remember to like, comment, share the content that you just watched. And, of course, if you haven't already, feel free to tap the subscribe button. Go check out the PT and Patreon page, or if you'd rather make a one-time donation. All those links are down below in the description box. We'll see you guys again later on the week. Have a good one. Go Hogs.